Hi everyone, welcome to my DE2. In this DE2, I'll be talking about the section or the thing that I think is going to make my business work more and that I've spotted that is like really unique in my opinion and can help develop my business idea. So, I think it is to open up to a wide variety of cultures, understandings, as well as how people live to sell our products. Now, the advantages of this lies in the fact that I can adapt to many cultures. For example, Japan is the culture of respect, meaning that my posters will bring the deep message of respect to Japan. While, for example, in India, certain gods might be the sign of good luck, so I can put it in. However, these signs don't really apply everywhere. So, for example, a swastika for certain Asian countries, or maybe like in India, can mean good luck, blessings, or the understanding of their pain and wishing them like a general good luck idea. However, in Germany, it can mean something different. It could be offensive to people, which is why, in order to adapt to this mode, which I'm calling it, because I think it's a reasonable mode, I'd have to learn where these posters go in order to design them not to offend like around 80% of people. Alright, so how is this a moat? So firstly, I think this is a moat because it can be defended. How? So if even one culture rejects our ideas, since we expand it and try to adapt to like generally any culture we can find, we are able to find a wider variety of customers and build a bigger customer base so that there's more general income. And since digital design companies can be adaptive, we can set like the normal or average prices for a design company in the US and in maybe Vietnam at the same time. That is affordable, convenient, and adapts to both economies, which is also an important reason why this mode is really good in my opinion. Now, if we take action in the new market, firstly, it gives us a lot of actions between Western and Eastern cultures. For example, we can interact with these different cultures and adapt to them so that we can have more profit and generate a more wide or price-based company. For example, in the US, we can give our prices higher since the price of labor and effort there is higher. However, in Eastern companies, we can lower the prices a bit because their economy is not as strong as the Western, I think. And this means that the value of their money is going down, which means that in order to adapt in their economy, we will need to fit in their price range, which is really cheap for the Americans. However, it's an average price in Eastern's economy and will let us be able to expand more effectively. Now, the second thing is that we can manufacture more items and give them more shipping overseas. This means that we pay for like a lot of other things that we wouldn't normally pay. For example, if we can design something in Vietnam to send over to the USA, there will be more costs since we want to adapt from Eastern to Western and we have to convert the price. Meaning that, let's say our project costs only 1,000,000 Vietnamese dong, which is around like $50. However, that to them is like really cheap and we can sell it for maybe $120 or $145 instead. This means that we make almost twice or thrice the profit that we would make if we didn't adapt to the economies. Lastly, it allows us to cope with as well as understand these cultures better. Now, it might seem a bit simple, but in my opinion, if we can understand something, we can dwell on it and develop it into something we can use. So let's say in Vietnam, there's like a brand that doesn't know our culture. So this means that they might have some offensive things to our culture, and this makes us angry, and it discourages us from buying their services or products. On the other hand, a company who understands our culture well, has a respect for things such as like long dresses, those cone hats, etc., will have more respect, and this means there's a more charismatic effect, like a more emotional attachment to that company, which is why I think that expanding to a wide variety of cultures is very important and is working for my business. So that is all for my DE2. Thank you for listening and have a nice day. Bye.